Hey, what's up guys and welcome back to Anime King 3, and today I'm going to be giving you part 13 of What If Naruto Awakened, the Rinne-Tenseigan. Remember to get this one to 100 likes as usual, share this to all of your friends in your social media platform, and also go ahead and check out the brand new episode of What If Naruto had the rarest bloodline over on Anime King 2, and enjoy that guys. And stay tuned for a new episode over at Anime King as well. Yes, I have 3 channels, links will be down in the description for you guys to enjoy. So yeah, without further ado, what do you say we begin this new episode? Start the intro. So the last time we left off, time had passed since the attack on Konoha. Not that much time, as Konoha was still in the rebuilding process. Kakashi had to go on many high-rank missions, yes, as the Jonins were being put to work to show that Konoha is still strong despite the recent attack. Tamaru was a bit worried when she saw the way her brother was acting, but she calmed down after a while, seeing that he has just changed for the better, something that she appreciated even more. Naruto was busy training with Sasuke, as Sakura was at the hospital, helping here and there where she could. As Jiraiya came on the field where they were, as he was needing Naruto help so that he could find the next Hokage, that was Tsunade. As Naruto told him that Sasuke would be coming along as well, he didn't ask, he simply just told him. Sasuke didn't know why he was tagging along as they went off. The group was being followed by Itachi and Kisame. Obito came to visit Naruto first though, as Naruto asked him if he gave him permission to visit him, showing once again his superiority over Obito. If it wasn't for the 9 tails, Obito would have killed him a long time ago. Well, he would have tried, not that he would have succeeded. But well, seeing that he had no idea where the 9 tail was, he wasn't going to try anything against Naruto for now, as he told him about Kisame and Itachi. As Naruto said that he will handle it, as Obito asked him who Void was, but Naruto told him that he had no idea, as he asked him what kind of power he has. But Naruto told him that it was similar to his, but also different. But Obito didn't know what Naruto has, what kind of power he has. As Naruto was doing all of this just to piss him off, and he simply really didn't care what Obito think. Itachi and Kisame came to attack them indeed, as Naruto stopped Sasuke from doing anything rash. Itachi was quite surprised on how Naruto was able to calm down his brother so quickly. Sasuke was still getting over his head as Naruto slapped him away, showing him that if he even can't get past him, how he will beat Itachi. Itachi narrowed his eyes. There was something about this Naruto fellow, something off. But Jiraiya came and stopped them before anything good escalates. So with that, the group continued their search, as they ended up finding Tsunade in the bar. As she was talking, as Naruto got, well, rather hateful with his words. And he said some things that pissed Tsunade off as she punched him right through the goddamn bar. Jiraiya and the others rushed outside, but Naruto was fine. As he came back in, Tsunade felt it. At the last few seconds, he adjusted his body weight, so her punch really didn't affect him that much. He was quite fast for a little brat, but it still didn't matter. As Naruto brought out a wad of cash though, Jiraiya wondered what the hell he was doing with so much money on him. He would have to ask him about it later, as he told Tsunade he would give her all of this if she won a bet. If she won, they would leave her alone and never come back to her. But if she lost, she was supposed to return back to Konoha and become the Hokage. She accepted, as he knew about how she was addicted to gambling. As all of that was going on, Void was talking to a woman, the same blue-haired woman, as the both of them were discussing, well, plans. As Void was going to kill Orochimaru very soon. So yeah guys, was basically that's what I thought. You guys can switch across the playlist and check it out for yourself. So this is begin this new episode. Void was currently making his way to update Naruto on the current situation about what he was going to do next, as he was currently making his way towards a hotel. He had already spotted Jiraiya and Tsunade as the both of them were drinking, and the Uchiha was asleep. Void hopped up as he walked up on the wall, making his way towards the room window. The curtains were open, as the window was unlocked. There he was lying on the futon, just lying there, peacefully. His body strangely stiff for someone who was sleeping. The bed wasn't ruffled or anything. He was just lying there, his eyewear still over his eyes. As Void saw him twist and turn, as he looked at Naruto, he opened the window as he stepped inside, his feet not making a single sound. Suddenly, Naruto shot up to his feet as he started to cough. Blood started to puke out of his mouth as Void quickly rushed over and placed a hand on his back. But Naruto kept on coughing as the blood wasn't normal, it was black. That was the kind of blood that was, well, seriously detrimental for someone's health. As he puked out the blood, Void kept on patting his back as he looked down at Naruto. It took at least a good 10 seconds for Naruto to stop coughing. As he looked up at Void, despite him wearing the thing over his eyes, Void could see the tiredness and the weakness. The state that he was currently in right now, it was bad. It's getting worse. Yeah, said Naruto, as he got to his feet. He stirred a bit as he started to fall, but Void caught him. As he helped him back up, she's moving as fast as she can to find out the inner workings of it. The moment she's done, we will bring it to you. It's alright, said Naruto. I'll manage. This wouldn't be happening if you hadn't. Naruto turned towards him. As Void went quiet as he simply sighed. You know, if you die, all of this was for naught, right? I told you, I'll manage. How is she doing, Naruto asked. She's doing just fine. She misses you, said Void. I'll visit soon enough. Tell her that when you see her. Right now though, we can't really rush things. I'm hoping that you check to make sure that Jiren and Tsunade are not here. Anywhere near the hotel. I'm not even gonna ask you about that. What? You think this is my first time sneaking to somewhere? Besides, this place was even hard to get into. It's a hotel. Naruto simply shrugged as he went to the bathroom. What did you come to tell me? He asked. Everything is set in motion. But first, we need to draw the attention. Has Tsunade agreed to become the Hokage? Not yet, but I'm working on it, said Naruto. Just a week or so, and everything will work out fine. You know, she's rather rash, said Void. Are you sure? I'll handle it, said Naruto. Have I ever made a promise that I cannot fulfill? Well, I guess you're not wrong. Once this is all over, I want to be there as well. To see the snake die. Did you take care of Uncle? Yeah. I removed the seal from her neck. What about Kimimaro? We'll take him out once we take out Orochimaru as well. So that will be dealt with. Well, the next part is up to you, said Naruto. And for the moment, don't go back to Hidden Rain. Obito is getting suspicious of you. He wants to know who you are. And I know what you will do if he comes to find you. Void clenched his fists. Don't do anything rash. We still need him, said Naruto. But do we really? Asked Void. It would be easy to just kill him. He doesn't really serve a purpose anymore when you think about it. Zetsu, know who we are. The only thing that would be off-putting is Pain asking where Madara is. But that shouldn't be a problem. We can still handle it. Just give him some more time. He will suffer for what he did. All of them will suffer. You just don't do anything rash. Don't mess up the plan. Void sighed as he stepped forward. His hand started to glow green as he placed it on Naruto's chest. He moved back after a second. It's worse than I thought. I'm gonna tell her to hurry up. Don't rush her. We don't want her making any mistakes. You're dying. I know that, damn it. But I'll hold out. I will not die. I promised you that, didn't I? Void looked at him, as Naruto could tell that he was serious, despite not seeing his face. If you die, I won't be able to bring you back. And you know why, said Void. Of course I do, said Naruto. As Void looked towards the window, if you die, I'll kill every single one of them. Tsunade, Jiraiya. I'll burn Konoha to the ground. I'll kill all of the Akatsuki members. I'll destroy each and every one of these hidden villages and slaughter their leaders, just to throw the world into chaos. I'll use the power of the Bijus and bomb everything. That is the only way I will be satisfied if you die. Huh, that's quite morbid, isn't it? Said Naruto. I owe you that much, said Void. I'll be going now. Just make sure to take care of yourself and not push yourself so hard. I should be saying that to you. You know your limitations. Don't do anything rash. And remember, don't reveal anything too much. Your identity needs to be kept a secret for now. Soon enough the entire world will see what they have done, and they will come to regret it. Void nodded as Naruto turned. He was gone. As Naruto made his way to the bathroom, he paused at the door as he saw a silhouette in front of him. It was gone within a second. Huh. You can't kill me. If you think I'm gonna fall that easily, you're wrong. Let us see which one of us will come out on top. Meanwhile, all this was going on. Kabuto made his way towards a large chamber. There was scratch marks and blood. It was a fighting arena for the new test subjects. He made his way past that and stepped into a small office, where a woman was sitting behind a desk. She had light blue hair. She had on a green obi with a brown sash on her waist, with a red shirt underneath and high boots. Her name was Guren, the wielder of the crystal, a bloodline. She looked up. Ah, Kabuto. It's a pleasure seeing you here, she said, her tone dripping with sarcasm. Good to see you as always, Guren, said Kabuto. Tell me, how are the new test subjects going so far? Well, most of them have proven to be unstable. They have lost their mind already. But some of them had passed through the tests. But I'm still monitoring them. Kabuto smiled. Well, just make sure you keep the check going. As he started to walk away before pausing. Aren't you gonna ask? He said. She looked at him. About Lord Orochimaru. You usually always want to know about him. Well, it's not like you're gonna tell me much. You're always withholding information. Yes, I suppose you're right on that. But is my lord okay? She asks. At the moment, you have nothing to worry about, Guren. He's just fine. See what I mean? Said Guren. Kabuto laughed. Just keep on doing what you're doing. As he simply walked away. As the moment he left the room, Guren's nails dig into the table. Before she smiled to herself, knowing that soon enough, well, everything will change. Time skip. Tsunade, eyebrow was twitching. She couldn't shake this damn brat. He's been following her all day. He wanted to talk. Well, she didn't want to talk to him. After all, they made a bet. They were going to gamble at the end of the week. She has some affairs that she needs to set in order. That is what she told them. But the reason is she was waiting on Orochimaru to arrive. As she was thinking about his plan to bring back her loved ones. Jiraiya had spoken to her last night, as he knew that something was up when she mentioned Orochimaru. He told her if she betrayed Konoha, he would kill her himself. But she simply shrugged it off. But she knew that he was dead serious. But she did not care. To the amount that villagers had taken from her, they should give her back. They should give her back more than enough. She had enough as she looked towards him. What do you want? She said. As he simply sipped at the tea in front of him. People always said that the eyes were a mirror to the soul. She couldn't tell much from his features, given that his eyes were always hidden. I just want to talk. About what? We already made our deal. This is not a part of it. Why don't we just scrap that deal and you return to Konoha right now? And we can stop all of this foolishness. I mean, wouldn't it be better to be a ninja of Konoha? Well, not even a ninja, the Hokage. You'll be leading so much shinobis. And I'll be having a ton of work, she said. Yes, I suppose you're right. But still, at least you would make them proud. She narrowed her eyes at him. Them, she said. Yes. The people that you lost. Her look turned into a glare. Don't you dare, she said. I found out about what happened to you. You lost your brother and your lover, Dan and Milwaukee. I'm sorry, he said. She narrowed her gaze towards him. Shut up, she said. Look, it's never easy losing someone you love. It's hard for me to feel how you feel, given the fact that I was an orphan. I never really knew my parents. I'm not even gonna bother trying to lie to you. You must know that I'm the Jinjulki for the Kyuubi. Life has been hard. Yeah, really hard. And I know your life must have been hard as well. For you to lose the ones that you care about so much. To live in a world knowing that you will never see them again. It must have been beyond difficult. So that is why the glass in her hand cracked as she looked at him. Shut up, she said. She released a breath and she started to walk away, only for him to grab onto her wrists. Tsunade tried to pull out of his grasp, but to her surprise, his hand clenched tightly around hers. She turned back towards him. I heard that the both of them wanted to become Hokage. She was using her full strength, so she didn't take it that seriously. Wouldn't it be better for you to become what they could not because of this time? A way to show them that you're living up to your full potential. Something that they could not do because that was taken from them because of this war-torn world. You are the greatest medic in the world. She stopped trying to resist out of his grasp as he was talking. The best medic. If you're able to start a school or academy to help kunoichis and ninjas, find a way to learn medical ninjutsu as great as you so that they could help their comrades to come back alive. Why wouldn't you want to do something like that? Why wouldn't you want to become the hope, the symbol of peace for Konoha? Something that the two most precious person you wanted to do. Why wouldn't you want to achieve that, said Naruto. He released her hand. Look, I'm not telling you how to live your life, but I think it would be a good way to show them that you are living up to your full potential. To make them understand even where they are. To make them feel proud. To not see you drift away and slowly lose your life in this non-stop drinking and gambling. Do you really think that this is going to lead anywhere? Do you really think in a couple of years you can count on drinking and gambling? Because if you think that, well, I guess there is no point of me trying to convince you, he said. So if you really don't believe what I'm saying, I guess you can just go. Go on and continue your drinking and your gambling. And you don't have to become Hokage, you can even call off the bet. But it's not my decision to decide. It's up to you. And you want to know something? I believe that you will do the right thing. Despite you trying to act the way. Trying to be the tough part. Trying to act like you don't care. I can see you really care. But it's just hard for you to forgive and forget. I know it must have been painful. But you're not the only one that live a painful life. Throughout all of this, she stayed silent. As he simply walked away. Tsunade sat back down. She looked towards the ground, not knowing what to say, as she had many things to think about. She released a sigh and placed her head on the table. Where did everything go wrong? Well, she knew where everything went wrong, and Orochimaru was giving her opportunity to right that wrong. Should she take it? Should she betray everything she believed in, her code, her honor as a ninja, to work with that snake? She just didn't know what to do at the moment, as Naruto words plagued her mind at the moment, swaying her thoughts a lot. Time skip. So, there's a day left, said Jiren, as he looked towards Naruto. Sasuke was there as well, as the both of them were in an empty training field. Well, it was more like the edge of the forest. Are you sure that you can win this? After all, brat, if you lose, she's never gonna listen to us again. Because you made a promise that we will never show up ever again. And I never got to ask, what the hell are you doing with so much money? Asked Jiraiya. Oh, it's quite simple. I am killing missing ninjas on my off time to gather enough money so I can buy an army to take over the entire world. Jiraiya blinked as he looked at Naruto. He's joking, said Sasuke. I don't get your sense of humor, said Jiraiya. Most people doesn't, said Naruto. I'm surprised that Sasuke does. And don't worry about Tsunade, I spoke to her. And I think she listened. Really? Who knows? Guess we'll just have to wait till the time. After all, if I fail, you'll just have to become Hokage. And that's something I can't do, said Jiraiya. Yeah, said Naruto. Then I guess I have to become Hokage. You're too young for something like that, brat. Well, we won't know until we try. And who's gonna elect you? Asked Jiraiya. Well, you are. You're gonna vote for me. And yeah, the village will be under good control, with me leading it. Jiraiya started to laugh. I think I'm starting to get your sense of humor, he said. You think? Said Naruto. As he then turned towards Sasuke. You ready? As Jiraiya looked at the both of them, as he had came out here and fight him, what are you two gonna do? A bit of sparring, said Naruto. How's the jutsu coming along, Jiraiya asked. Oh, you mean this, said Naruto as he held out his hand. Jiraiya paused. With all the time that he was spending with Tsunade and drinking with her and trying to convince her to come back to the village, he hasn't been paying attention to Naruto, well, Master Rinne-Tenseigan. So to see the big ball in Naruto's hand right now, it took him off guard. As Jiraiya took 4 months to do this thing, and yet the kid took less than a week. You know, I was wondering, this is just pure manipulation of chakra. So, if I were to add in my element, what will happen? Jiraiya smirked. I'm glad to see that you're thinking that far ahead, kid. But that is something too advanced. Really advanced. Not even I were able to add in my element in the Rasengan. Well, I guess if I do it then that will make me better than you. Not by a long shot. But I guess you'll have that advantage over me. Then I guess I'll start working on that. Wait, you don't need my help? Well, if anything I can find out, I'll come back to you, said Naruto. You know, Naruto, you can't take on the world by yourself. As Naruto said nothing. Come on, Sasuke, he said. Jiraiya sighed, before a smirk came on his face. As he might as well do some research. Once he was gone, Sasuke paused. What are you up to, he asked. What do you mean? What you told me back at the village. That the village is stunting my growth. What are you up to? He asked once again. And I asked you again, what do you mean? You're not telling me something. Oh, I'm not telling you a lot of things, Sasuke. But that because you're not ready for them yet. You're still a child. Sasuke eye twitch. We're the same age. That is not what I mean, said Naruto. You will understand soon enough. But I meant what I said. You are not ready. And also, the village is stunting your growth. So I guess we'll have to do something about that. After all, if you ever want to kill Itachi, you have to at least beat me in a spar to know that you're getting stronger. Sasuke simply clenched his fists. Well, alright then. Let's do this, he said. I thought you would never shut up, said Naruto. Time skip. Shizune. Shizune slowly opened her eyes. She looked around confused. Before it all kicked in, Naruto-san, we need to help her. We need to calm down, said Naruto. What's going on? I was calling Tsunade. Today is the day. The door was left open, unlocked. I came in and saw you lying here on the floor. Tsunade-sama did this to me. Huh? She knocked you out? Why would she do something like that? Because what? What the hell is going on? The both of them turned to see Jiraiya stagger in the room. Sasuke helping him up. What's up with you, said Naruto. He has been poisoned, said Sasuke. Poison? Said Shizune. Tsunade. She messed with my drink somehow last night. I can't even properly mold my chakra. Tell me where she is. What is she doing? And does this involve Orochimaru? Shizune was surprised that he figured it out. Yes, she said. But we have to hurry. I'll get you something to help you along. Meanwhile, that was going on. Ah, Tsunade, you're here. I hope you're making the right choice. After all, we wouldn't want to start something you can't end, right? Tsunade glanced over towards Kabuto, who simply smiled at her. So, are you ready? Once I'm done with this, You'll bring them back. Of course. It's a promise, Tsunade. You know I would never break a promise to you. Tsunade clenched her fist. If you do, I'll kill you, she said. Well said. Now how about we get this going, he said, as he held up his arms. She walked forward. As Kabuto narrowed his eyes, her hands started to glow green as Kabuto threw kunais as it embedded in front of Tsunade, stopping her. Kabuto, what are you, my lord? She wasn't trying to heal her arms. That jutsu will have done you more harm than good. So, Tsunade, you have chosen to... Orochimaru and Kabuto had to leap away as Tsunade's fist connected into the ground. The ground was torn apart, trenches came up. I'm gonna kill the two of you myself, she said, as she moved forward. Orochimaru sighed. Kabuto, stop her. Kabuto went in, only for Tsunade to outclass him at every turn, as she knocked him to the side. But Kabuto was a good medic as well, as he was able to heal the internal wounds. As he jumped in front of his master, Tsunade pulled her fist back as she charged with so much chakra that this punch would literally take off his head. But Kabuto did something that surprised her, as he splashed blood over her face after slitting his finger. Tsunade faltered as images of Naoki and Dan run through her mind. She fell down towards the ground, stepping back in fear. The greatest medic in the world, and yet you're afraid of blood. Pathetic, said Kabuto, as he raised his foot. Get away from me, she said, her voice filled with fear, and it was shaking. He kicked her as she fell over. As she started to pull back, Kabuto, take her, we're leaving. If she won't do it willingly, I'll just force her to do it. At once, my lord. It all happened so quickly. Kabuto couldn't even react in time. Orochimaru barely caught it. One moment Kabuto was standing there. The next, his back was through a boulder. His nose twisted at an awkward angle. His mouth drenched with blood, as a heel of void had slammed into his face with so much pressure. His body was thrown at a speed that his muscles were unable to keep up with. So when his back slammed into the boulder's arms bent at an unnatural rate, snapping them. As Kabuto lied there broken. Tsunade couldn't even look up as she was shaking. You. Hello there, Orkai, said Void. It's been a long time. I see that your hands aren't doing so well. Tsunade summoned a voice. Shizune rushed towards her master, not caring about the other, as Jiraiya got between them as well. He narrowed his eyes towards Void and Orochimaru. Oh, don't get it wrong, we're not working together. I'm actually the one that saved her little friend over there. I mean, she was just about to be taken. You can see for yourself. As he pointed towards where the downed Kabuto was, trying to heal himself as best as he could. Sasuke and Naruto didn't arrive as well. Ah, I see you brought the kiddies. How have you been doing? Said Void. But neither of them answered him. Huh. You should know, I'm not the bad guy here. I don't know what he has been telling you. As he looked towards Jiraiya. I was the one that helped in aiding Konoha against the One Tail after all. I did so much. At least you can do is show me the proper respect. Am I right, Jiraiya? Jiraiya said nothing as he looked towards Void with an angry look on his face. Seems you will never fully trust me. Void simply shrugged. Well, let the show commence, he says. He started to back away before he simply sat down. He clapped his hand. Come on. Go on, he said. Orochimaru looked towards Jiraiya and back over towards Void before he had to duck a hail of kunais that Sasuke sent his way. Ah, Sasuke-kun. Orochimaru licked his lips as he looked at Sasuke. He looked towards Sasuke's neck. Don't think about it, Orkai. If you make a move against him, I'll slit your throat, Void said. His voice sounded like he was talking about the weather. The way it was calm and, well, chill. And you expect me to think that you won't do anything, said Orochimaru. I told you, I'm just a spectator in all of this. Jiraiya is a real enemy here. You should watch out. Orochimaru had to move back from Jiraiya here, coming towards him. It's been a long time, Jiraiya. I take it you're not here to bring me back. Those days are over. I heard what you want to do to Tsunade. I see that she turned you down. Yes, and rightfully so. I guess you were behind that. No, she's just a true Konoha ninja. And she would never stoop to siding with someone like you. Someone like me. You mean a Sanin? You know what I mean. Orochimaru simply smirked. Well then, Jiraiya, if you want to play. Kabuto landed back to his master's feet after he had took a pill, as it helped him back up to his, original state. Ah, I see you're back in the game. You should watch out there. Kabuto had to duck as Naruto came in attacking him with a new fury as he jumped back. Kabuto, take care of the brats. I'll handle Jiraiya. As Orochimaru neck extended and went towards Jiraiya, as Jiraiya blocked the attack. Meanwhile, Tsunade was still shaken, but she could still see the battle was going on in front of her, as she felt so useless right now as she thought about everything that Naruto said to her. She had made up her mind that she would kill Orochimaru and rid him by saving Konoha. Even if she didn't become Hokage, she at least did something for them by killing Orochimaru. But that didn't went well as she thought, seeing that he knew about her hemophobia, and it messed her brother badly. As she looked ahead of her, meanwhile, Kabuto leaped back. I knew there was something off about you, said Naruto. Huh. Well, it seems like you're quite wise for your age, Naruto-kun, said Kabuto. To think that you figured me out, or you were just, testing a theory. Naruto simply smirked at him. You know, I always wonder what your eyes look like. I've never actually saw them, Kabuto said. And you never will. Because you're about to die, said Naruto. Oh really? Are you gonna be the one to finally kill me, Kabuto asked. I've been to so many villages, doing so many things that would cause me to die. And you, a mere runt, is gonna kill me. You should know, I'm on the same level as Kakashi. Sasuke snorted as Kabuto looked towards him. Don't believe me, Sasuke-kun. Of course not. You can never be as strong as Kakashi. You're just some four-eyed freak that is being used by that snake. It seems like you don't understand, Sasuke. Orochimaru-sama is a key for us to get what we truly want. He can help you gain the power you deserve to kill your brother once and for all. After all he's done, I don't need any power from him, said Sasuke, as he activated 3 Totem Sharingan. I will get my power without having to stoop into his level. Well then, I suppose I'll have to make you two understand that you are nowhere near my level. Naruto dressed back a bit. Damn it, he cursed in his mind as he could feel the blood rising up his throat. He tapped his finger 3 times on his pants. You know, this is rather boring, said Void as he got to his feet. As he stepped back in the fray, he looked around. Orochimaru, he said. You're too weak to be of any challenge to Jiraiya. And Jiraiya is too weak at the moment because of whatever happened to him. So the battle is quite boring. This is not entertaining at all. Kabuto leaped away with the distraction as he landed towards his master's side. Kabuto, do it now. Kabuto bit his thumb as he rubbed it on Orochimaru's arm. The blood as he went through hand sign, summoning jutsu as he slammed his hand down. A large poof as Manda arrived, the boss of the snakes. Orochimaru, you dare to summon me, the snake said. I need your help, Manda. I hope you have the sacrifices for this summon. If not, I will take your soul instead. Don't worry, I'll give you all the sacrifice you want, as long as you help me crush them. Jiraiya bit his thumb as he went through hand sign, summoning jutsu, he said. Jiraiya completely froze as a large tadpole appeared. He cursed. His chakra control was crap at the moment. As Tsunade, Jug was still in his system. Naruto did not have the Toad-Con shock. He didn't know what the hell to do right now. Don't worry, I'll help you. As Void went through hand sign, summoning jutsu, he said. Poof! The smoke appeared in the middle of the air as Void leaped up and landed on something. The thing was high above them, so they could not see it fully. As the smoke started to clear away, as Void was still in the smoke, he spoke. I thank you for accepting me, he said. You can thank the younger Uzumaki for voting for you. Well, at the moment, we need to keep his involvement as secrecy. He's down there, so pretend like you don't know him. Very well. The smoke finally cleared away to show a giant red dragon. Two large wings flap. Red slitted eyes looking down towards the ground. The wings created a small gust. Even Tsunade had to look up as they all paused in fear. The dragon then smirked. So, a snake summoner. It's been a long time since I ripped one of those puny worms into half. Manda looked up. How is this possible? Orochimaru was at a loss, as he couldn't understand. There's a dragon summons? He never heard of them before. He heard about legends of the Siege of Six Paths and creatures of the night that flew like bats. Things people call mystic dragons, but he never actually saw a summon of it before. He prided himself of knowing a lot of things in this world, so this was a huge blow to his pride for not knowing about this. This was quite confusing to him. Manda looked up at the thing with a bit of hesitation on his face. The dragon roared as he looked down towards Manda. My name is Zeno, puny worm. I like my opponents to know my name before I kill them, so they can tell their friends in the afterlife. Zeno shot down at incredible speed. His wings created trench by the guts that they release as they move. He slammed right into Manda, throwing him back as Orochimaru was thrown off the head of Manda along with Kabuto. I see this is not going as you planned, Urkai, said Void. Orochimaru cursed and he clenched his fist. Naruto walked over towards Tsunade. As he looked at her, he stooped down in front of her. Are you okay? He asked. She looked at him, but she wasn't saying anything. Naruto sighed. We really need to fix this hemophobia of yours, he said. As Orochimaru was livid, he was pissed. How could this person have the dragon summoning contract? Something that he never even thought existed. This person kept on pulling one over on him and over, stopping him from getting Sasuke. As Orochimaru was going to make sure he suffered, Orochimaru always remembered that Void had a keen interest in Sasuke and Naruto. He wanted Sasuke, so the best option was. Orochimaru licked his lips as he shot forward in the distraction. Jiraiya turned as he saw Orochimaru slipping past. Naruto's back was turned towards Orochimaru. Void saw what was happening as he raised his arm in the air. But Naruto was stooping down as he tapped the ground 3 times. Void clenched his fist and stopped as he wanted to intervene, but he did not. I hope you know what you're doing, he said. Tsunade's eyes widened as Shizune saw it as well. Naruto, watch out, Shizune screamed. Naruto shifted his body just in time so that the sword wouldn't completely tear through his heart. It still ripped through his chest though, but at least his heart wasn't damaged. The sword kept on pushing through him. Given that Tsunade was so close, she would get pierced as well. He reached up and grabbed onto the blade, tight, as it cut into his palm. But he grabbed onto it, stopping it an inch away from Tsunade's face. Tsunade blinked. It was like she reawakened to the world. As she saw Naruto in front of her, blood coming from his mouth. Come on, Bachan. It's not like I can allow you to die. After all, you're the new Hokage, he said. Why would you? As Naruto simply smiled at her. Well, you came here to kill him, right? So I guess you made your choice. Tsunade's eyes hardened as Orochimaru kept on pushing the blade. She moved as Orochimaru pulled back. But given his state, he was not fast enough to escape. Blam! Her fist connected into his face, snapping his jaw. Orochimaru was sent sailing like a rag doll. As Naruto started to fall, he fell right into her arms. She quickly tore open his shirt. Don't worry, I'll say. She paused as she saw the black blood. Up on top of the dragon, Void, eyes hardened under his mask. She shook her head as the blood returned back normal. She must be seeing things. As she reached down but she stopped. Tsunade-sama, you need to do something, Shizune said. He will die. Hurry! Tsunade's hands shake as her hemophobia was kicking in. Tsunade, Jiraiya screamed! As Sasuke looked at her. Save him! She started to hyperventilate as she looked down at Naruto. I believe in you, he said. She quickly dived in as her hands touched a warm liquid. The blood. But she didn't care as she was too busy focused on helping Naruto. Meanwhile, Void was thrown like a rag doll as he smashed into the earth. His body was burned and torn. He looked up before his head dropped back down as his body poofed away. Huh. Weak. The dragon looked down. Will that be all? Yes. Thank you for your assistance, said Void, as he patted him on the head. The dragon then vanished as Void dropped down. Orochimaru stood there along with Kabuto. As Orochimaru narrowed his eyes at Void. Go on, run. I won't chase you. Kabuto narrowed his eyes. Why not? Why? Is a question we all want to know, right? Before you go, Orochimaru. Void smiled, but he couldn't see it. Well, he was wearing his mask. You should know I'm coming. There is not a single place on this earth that you can hide from me. Just know I'm coming. I want you to know that I'm coming because I want you to think. I want you to understand your situation here. I'll be coming. Not even Kami herself could come and stop me. The death god, no one. Because I'm coming for you, Orochimaru. And I'm gonna cut you down piece by piece. And I'm gonna enjoy myself as I do it. I hope you remember that. Orochimaru showed no fear on the outside, but on the inside he was worried. As he quickly fled with Kabuto, quickly planning to find a way to escape. As Tsunade worked on Naruto, deep within Naruto, inside of his mindscape, that was currently empty of the giant 9-tailed fox. Throughout all of this, the beast had been missing, but inside of the seal was still chakra, large quantities of the Kyuubi's chakra, as it started to seep through Naruto's veins and help with the toxin. Tsunade released a sigh when she saw the poison from the Kusanagi was seeping out of Naruto. Void walked over as Jiraiya turned towards him. Easy. As he looked down at Naruto. And with that, Void was gone like he was never there. As Sasuke narrowed his eyes at Void before looking back at Naruto. Tsunade released a sigh when she felt it. As the poison had left his system, now all was left was to heal him. As Naruto's face scrunched up into a smile, I know you could do it, he said to her. She backed off a second later. Him being a Jinchuriki helped a lot, as the wound was now completely gone. He sat back up with the help of Shizune. Are you okay? She asked. Yeah, fine, he said. Tsunade looked at him. You almost died, brat. Well, couldn't allow that sword to go too far. After all, the village needed Hokage in good shape, don't we? As Shizune, all of them turned towards her. Jiraiya looked towards her. Is he right? Tsunade sighed. Alright, fine, I'll call off the bet. You can stay with your money, although I probably would have lost anyway. Fine. I'll take the title as the 5th Hokage. Shizune smiled at that, finally. They were going back home. Time skip. The group returned back to Konoha as Tsunade sit down in the office. The announcement hasn't been made yet, but soon enough she will be announced as the new Hokage. Jiraiya was currently sitting on the window as Tsunade looked through the window as well. You know, this Void person is gonna be a real problem, she said. You're telling me. There's a lot you need to know about him, especially. And we have no idea who he is. None, said Jiraiya. But he seemed to be quite interested within Naruto and Sasuke for some reason. Well, we can't allow him to get them. He's just filled with so many mysteries. I've never even heard of a dragon summoning contract. Neither have I, said Jiraiya. But yet he has it. He's doing things that doesn't seem to be possible, but yet he's still doing them. And that mask, we can't even tell who he is. Something that if we could find out, it might help us a lot. Well, now that I'm back, let's get our fears in order, shall we? First thing first, Starting out this thing with the hidden sun. They were tricked into the invasion. So, it's time we make peace with them. Jiraiya smiled. Why are you smiling? She asked. Well, I knew that you would be perfect for the job. And I'm just happy that I was right. She simply shrugged. In your long, long life, you being right for once, isn't that really good? Long, long life. You're acting like you're not old as well, you old hag, he said. The next thing he knew, he was flying across the village. Time skip. A group of stone shinobis were currently making their way. They were carrying something. It was a lot of them. 7 of them in total. They were carrying a rather large container. Inside were bodies. A lot of bodies. It was from the recent, well, experiments. They made their way to the top of a cliff. As they looked down. Alright, in 3. 1, 2, 3. As they chunked the bodies over to the side, releasing them out of the container as the bodies fell deep, deep down the chasm into rushing waters where they will never be seen again. But one of the bodies stand out than the others, as it had blue hair and black eyes. This was none other than Orochimaru, loyal subordinate Guren. But they didn't see that body. But it will be rather confusing because Guren was the one that gave them this job to get rid of these bodies. So if that was the real Guren right there, if they had paid attention, they would have noticed. If that was real Guren, then who the hell was back at the base? But they were not smart enough or paying too much attention. Meanwhile, back at the base, Guren was currently in the office. As she went through a couple of paperwork, she smiled to herself. Everything was going according to plan. Time skip. Orochimaru was on edge, as Void had shown himself time and time again that he's able to appear and be anywhere. But yet he hasn't showed his face. 3 long days had passed and yet he hadn't shown his face at all. The door opened as Orochimaru snapped his eyes towards it. But it was just Kabuto. My lord, Guren wishes to see you. What? What does she want? It must be another attempt of you to take her body. You know, my lord, she is indebted to you. She wants you to use her as you see fit. Orochimaru thought about his options, given the fact that he need a host for her soon. You know what? Bring her. I want to speak to her myself. I might have to use her. Her bloodline will prove useful against Void if anything. My lord, it has been 3 days. It doesn't look like he's coming. Oh, he's coming alright, Orochimaru said. He's coming. For me. And I have to be ready when he does. Make sure everything is on high alert. There are no gaps in security. Make sure everyone is ready. And the moment he shows his face, the alarms are supposed to be blazing. Kabuto has never seen his master this afraid before. He could tell that this Void was a real threat. A really dangerous man. Well, considering that they just pissed off the devil, they were gonna feel hellfire soon enough. But that was all their fault. But they still think that they can actually survive him. But the time will come when they will realize that everything is being twisted and manipulated by none other than Void and Naruto. And when I say everything, I mean everything. But they didn't know that. For all they can do now was wait. Patiently wait, and Orochimaru trying to move. After all, he didn't trust this place anymore. He was gonna try and leave the throne for a while and lay low until everything blows off. Time skip. As Naruto was currently looking towards Void. You know you could have died. You could have sped up the process, Void said. I told you. I have it handled. Yet still you almost died. What if we hadn't planned? Just in case. I told you I have it handled. Calm down already. Void, gritted his teeth. Fine. Are we doing this or not? Yeah. Tomorrow, we're gonna do this in the public, so that everyone can see. Make sure you put on a grand show, said Naruto. Oh, I plan on it, said Void. If they get in my way, I'm gonna kill them. I don't mind, said Naruto. Just make sure you don't kill the ones that I've told you about. They might be useful. Fine. But what about the Uchiha? Have you told him about it, said Void. No. Once we get there, I explain to him. But tomorrow I'll be leaving Konoha. So you just get everything ready. And we can pay our little snake friend a visit. Void took off his mask and placed it on the table. He reached into his pouch. So I can finally use these, he said as he pulled out something. As Naruto smirked, well, given that it's the last time you will be on this earth, we will have some fun. After all, Naruto cracked his neck. It's been a long time since I go all out and cause some destruction. In your condition, are you sure? Void asks. Come on, what's the point of fighting if you can't have some fun? Void sighed. Fine. She's making headway. You know that she's gonna want to see you, right? Yeah. But are the others ready? If they mix this up, if they mess up the slightest, I'm gonna kill them. They will be ready. I have told them well enough, and they should understand not to mess up. Fine, I'll trust your judgment. Well then, said Void. Let us begin. But guys, be and subscribe right here. For the next part is to do. Like, subscribe, comment down below, and turn on the bell notifications I posted. But I'm off now. See you guys soon. Peace.